I realized something kind of strange the first time when I worked on a distributed system. Time just doesn't really work. I mean, it does exist, obviously, but you can't rely on it for anything important. Here, as you can see, we've got two machines, machine A and machine B. Now, these are just two simple machines that are running on different servers. That's it. Machine A assumes it's 10:01 and machine B assumes it's 10 o'clock. If A tells me something happened at 10:01 and B says that something happened at 10:00, that still tells me basically nothing. It feels like B was first, but that is just us trying to force an order that might not even exist. The network messes everything up. Messages can get delayed, clocks can drift, and to be honest, thinking is just never perfect. So a distributed system just stops trusting timestamps. Like it had to come up with something better, something much more simpler. Now, this arrow here tells you the whole story. Let's say instead of this, it is A is pointing towards B. So, did information from this event, that is an event that took place on machine A, affect the event that is taking place on machine B? Now, the system currently just says that it doesn't know when it's in case of timestamps because as we saw, we cannot really trust them. So that is when the concept of a vector time or a vector clock came into play. This, I know the name sounds kind of intense, but the idea is pretty simple. It's just a list of counters where one counter is assigned per machine. So let's say here we have a counter as 0, 0, and the same here. So basically one counter is assigned per machine. The first at the 0th index is for A and the first index is for B. So currently both the clocks are in sync. Everything will always start at 0 as usual. Now let's say when A does something, it will increment this counter from 0 to 1, and after that when it is trying to send a message to B, this clock will also be sent here. And then what B tries to do is it will try to get the max of 1 comma 0 and 0 comma 0. So it checks which clock is ahead of itself, whether its own clock or the clock that the time vector that it just received. So it saw that okay, the A's clock is ahead of mine. So what it will do is it will initially accept the clock as 1 comma 0, and since it did some kind of operation, it will update its own clock as well to 1. So this is just a timestamp of the events that took place. This helps us achieve some sort of hierarchy telling that okay, these are the events that have taken place and this is what happened before the event that is going to take place now. Now B receives it, it took the max for each entry and then it incremented itself. This is the part that matters the most. That number isn't time, it is just a record of what B has seen. Now A and B do things without talking to each other. Neither one clearly comes before the other, so the system says these things happen concurrently. There is no forced ordering in this scenario. And that is actually really the whole point. Vector clocks aren't trying to create a timeline, they are just trying to avoid making things up, making time up. So yeah, they don't tell you when something happened, they just tell you whether one thing could have happened because of another. And for a lot of systems, that turns out to be all that is actually needed. Thank you.